All right, guys, we enlarged our peach orchard, and we took in an area that was partially shaded, some of it's fully shaded, and we've done some research, and I've found out that raspberries, if grown in partial shade, they don't bear quite as much, but they do better if grown in partial shade. And we just happen to have this pot sitting out here that's full of raspberries, and they have multiplied in here to the point where they got to come out anyway. So I told Wanda, I said, you know what? These are the heritage breed red raspberries. I bought these, oh my goodness, several years ago, and they've never done anything anywhere we've put them. And we put them in this pot right here in the partial shade, and them things has took off. So I told her, I said, you know what? We're going to come in here. They're a little out of hand. We're going to clip them off down a little bit lower. And I'm trying to dig them up. This thing is nothing but a giant mat of roots in here. So I'm going to try to see. I've took my shovel. I got a little scoop shovel here. I've tried to, go deep in the pot and loosen it up some. Now they got thorns all over these things. I'm trying to just see if I can. Oh yeah. See, this is what we're ending up with. We got this nice little brown, I call it a bramble. It comes down to a point right there. I think this is going to work out pretty good. I'm not sure. Here's another one right here.
Good root system, at least, maybe.
Got a good little root system. Now, I am taking my snippers and topping them. Now, we've got enough here to plant a lot. I'm going to tell you. I didn't realize.
They had multiplied like crazy.
Oh, they're coming up like really easy now that I've broke the ground up. Oh, that one's got some green leaves on the top of it.
Clip the top out.
The very top. I'm not cutting the leaves out.
No, just the dead stuff.
Get the dead stuff out.
Because we got a lot of them that have green on them.
These this past year, we harvested some berries off of these.
And then the heat got them.
And then the heat.
But now that it's not so hot, they're coming back out. So that tells me they don't like the heat that much. It looks like new shoots coming on the side.
It is. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm trying to be very easy with this one. Look at it.
It's already got new growth.
It's got new growth coming out on it already. I'm going to go ahead and, beans is coming out right there, I'm going to top all this. And I'm trying to be really easy when I set all this stuff down in here. Not to knock any of the dirt off the roots if I can help it. I've learned if you can maintain some soil on the roots of stuff, it sure does do a lot better. I'm trying to be real easy when I pull up.
That one goes around the pot, looks like.
Even, look at this. Even though, I'll get it out of here before we can look at it.
Lemongrasses.
Even the little bitty one right here, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
It's got new little shoots coming out on it. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now, what I was able to find out looking at places that grows these is that I need to put one plant every 3 foot, and they will fill in the space. And based off of this pot right here, this had one little stub sticking up in it.
and there's probably 30 in there.
Oh, at least.
Around 30.
I would probably say, yeah, there's that many at least.
So we don't have to buy any plants.
No, that one plant I bought at Walmart years ago that has done nothing.
This one has been in this pot here for 2 years, and I can't remember what you had at Deep South.
It was at the old high tunnel over by the off-grid cabin. It was.
That's right. And it was in there 2 years.
It was in there for a couple of years, and I mean, we harvested a few berries off of it. It would always do really, really good, and then it would just falter back. They're not really. I don't know if these. I read that this breed was okay for this area.
It's just that if it gets too hot, they don't do well. I figured out this summer the heat does a number
I think
on
I'm
them.
going to leave that one that tall.
Yeah. And just see what it does. That one's got a good green on it. Can't see for all my lemongrass.
Even that deep underground, look at that. It's
new growth.
It's got the new little rhizomes coming out on it. Yeah.
Now we're going to dig this lemongrass up in a few minutes and go put it somewhere too.
It's got to go somewhere else.
We need the pot.
We need our pots. Last year we determined we needed 50 pots to grow enough
beans in
snap
the
beans for us to be able to be sustainable with them.
Plus somebody's got a lot of cabbage, cauliflower, and everything else.
I got a ton of that stuff. Look at that down there.
Nice. And it's got its green, and you got 2 of them.
Actually, it's 2 of them here, I think.
Yeah. The new growth is...
Actually coming off the little one.
Yep.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Very nice.
Look at that.
And I'm hoping the cold don't kill them. It may kill back the green.
It may kill the green back. But these things are made really, they grow up north a lot. Well, this thing here is in my way right here. Let me...
That was the old
cane. It's dead anyway.
Yeah.
It keeps trying to poke me in the face.
It needed to come off. It's just tied up there, wrapped around or something. It's tied.
That old cotton string.
You pull it a certain way, it'll just break.
All right, I'm going to get that out of the way here. Now, let's see if that won't. Boy, these have got the pretty. I was going to cut them all back, and I think I am going to cut some of them back.
Yeah. That one, a lot of them need to be cut back.
Yeah. We're going to be able to fill that whole place down there up, I believe.
We may not need any more plants. We may have a raspberry and peach orchard.
Huckleberries down there. We may not.
We have raspberry and peaches more than anything else.
I have to watch these thorns because they...
Yeah, the thorns are like, y'all see?
See how they're like little hairs, but they're there.
And you run your hand, you slip.
I know, that's why I'm squeezing as hard as I can. I'm trying to not damage them. A lot of people wondered how I'm getting these out of here with all these thorns on them. If you put your hands underground, there ain't no thorns on the ground.
That's the way you pull stickers out of the garden or anything.
Anything. If you pull briars up out of the garden, put your hands under the soil line. Now that one.
Ain't nothing to it.
It's dead.
The briars go right, the stickers do, right to the soil line.
Yep. Right down to it, I mean. And I go down below the soil line.
There's a bunch of them up that time.
Look at that. Whew. I done hit gravel. Man. Whoa. Pure sand. Ain't that something? Sand and rocks.
It soaks the water up.
Yeah, it soaks the water up.
And that's how dry we are. There is no moisture in that, are there?
There's none. I mean none. There is no moisture whatsoever. I'm trying to get everything out of here to... Alright, let's see if we can...
And you're berming up because it's going downhill.
Yeah, we're on a pretty steep hillside here, so I'm kind of trying to build me a little berm.
It may not look like it, but that raised bed's what, 3 feet above your head?
Oh, every bit of that or more. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you a story. One day, Wanda and I was rural, out in the country. We were driving down the road, and we passed a whole pile of pots sitting on the side of the road. Had price tag on them. Said plants for sale. And you know me. I told Wanda, I said, we got to go back. I got to see what that is. So we turned around and went back, because some of them look like unusual plants. Well,
and this was before we ever did YouTube.
This is before we done YouTube. Wanda and I pulled up in there. Well, there was some pomegranates and some mayhaws and all kind of stuff.
Peaches and apples.
Peaches,
and
apples,
plums,
all that stuff was in there. And I told this little old lady come out. She wasn't 5 foot tall. She was all hunched over like this here. And she just barely could walk. And her name was Miss Eleanor. I never did know her last name, but I knew her. She just told me her name was Eleanor. And
that's why we have a Miss Eleanor
apple. And I said, she said, can I help y'all? You know, and I said, ma'am, I said, I'd like to look at your trees here. She said, okay, you know. And I never met an individual with the wisdom that elderly lady had. She was in her 90s. And she told me, she said, this ain't nothing. Let me take and show y'all something. She lived in a house trailer, so we went behind her house trailer. She had a pomegranate tree that was probably 25 feet tall and, I don't know, 20 feet in diameter. The thing hanging with pomegranates that big around, just hanging everywhere. And we walked off down just like this right here, like looking at that right there. We walked off down in the edge of the woods, and she had an oak tree down there. That thing must have been 4 to 5 feet in diameter. And from that oak tree, all out everywhere around the span of those limbs on that oak tree like that, was little pots with a pot on top of it. You couldn't see what was under it. I said, what is all that stuff? And she said, that's how you start your plants. She said, you take cuttings and you put them in there and you cover them with that little pot. And she said, don't put them out there where no sunshine can get to them. You want to always put your stuff up under trees. And we sit around and talk for a while, and she's the one who taught me about grafting.
We made several trips to her house.
We actually made a lot of trips back and forth to her place. And she taught me all about grafting. She taught me about what time of the year to cut a limb off a tree, put it in the ground, make it grow. And one day I was looking in the woods, off down in the woods now, like looking in yonder. I said, Miss Eleanor, I said, you got all kind of briars growing off down there in the woods. And she said, sweetheart, that ain't briars. I said, well, it looks like it to me. She said, no. She said, that's raspberries. She said, would you like some? I said, well, I didn't know they would grow here in the South. And she said, oh, things will grow anywhere in the world. She said, you just got to know how to put them. She said, now don't ever put them out there where the sun can get to them. She said, leave them down here in the woods where it's shaded. She said, you got to plant them like God planted them. She said, when you look at briar patches, God don't stick a briar patch out in an open field in the sunshine most of the time. God sticks his briar patches up around the bottom of tree lines and stuff like that. And she said, no fence rows has got trees growing on them and stuff like that, got briars growing all down them. She said, you want to grow them like God grows them. And me and Wanda got several from her. And due to our negligence, we lost them.
We kept them for about 3 or 4 years.
We did. We kept them 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. And we finally, one year, it got to be a drought, and
I didn't water them enough that year.
We didn't water them enough, and we lost them. And we had them out where the sun could hit them.
They were partial shade. So
they was on a hugel bed.
And the trees were beside them, but it wasn't this shaded.
No, it wasn't shaded.
It would be like putting them in that first row
them out
of
in the middle of that peach orchard out there, you know. And we lost them because of the hot sun. Well, fast forward to today. I'm planting raspberries back, and guys, I'm under the edge of this oak tree. I have it now. My oak's not 3 to 4 feet in diameter. I mean 5 feet like hers it was. It will be one day. Nothing happens, but hers looked just like that. And she had those raspberries around the outside edge of that limb span like this, where only the sun could hit them for just a couple of hours during the day. She said, now when you're in the south, son, she said, now raspberries, if the sun hits them in the south, see, it's different than it is in the north. That's what she told me. She said in the north, the sun don't get that hot. She said they think it does, but it don't. She said down here in the south, the sun is extremely intense, and if it hits them red raspberries, they'll turn white on you. And then they get bitter and they ain't no good. She said, so if you keep them up under the shade like this, that sun can't get in there to ruin your berries. And she said, I pick gallons of them off of them every year. She said, they just the best things in the world, you know.
And that's where I tasted my first raspberries.
Yeah. Well, you and me both, because I've seen them in grocery stores before.
But they were high, and I didn't never buy them.
They were really expensive because they in them little plastic things like this, and I couldn't ever afford to buy them, you know, so I would never buy them. But now we have our own raspberries, and I'm planting them under the edge of this oak tree out here. Now, the tree will probably get bigger, I know.
You going to back up and do another row?
I am. I'm going to back up and do one more row right here. I'm going to try to have a couple of rows of them. And
then we still have room for huckleberries.
Yeah, we'll stick the huckleberries off running around down in here, because that's, I mean, I'm looking at huckleberries growing off in them woods down in yonder, so, and they're completely shaded.
We can find them anywhere.
Oh, Lord, yes, yes, yes. So, thought I'd share that story with you. We're going to continue to try to get these out. Now, this is a heritage raspberry.
Hers were wild.
Hers was I will say hers was a wild variety. That, hers had more thorns on them than these do. And I don't know how it's possible, but it was. But we're going to continue. We're going to move over here about 3 or 4 feet. And we're going to make us another row. Going down the hill right here. And hopefully in the future, we're going to be able to show y'all a nice little patch of raspberries here. Oh, and another thing. She said raspberries don't need any kind of lime or anything like that. She said, son, she said raspberries likes to be where it's really acidy. That's why it's good around these oak trees, because these oak trees need acidy soil, and they both need the same pH soil. And she said that's why you can plant them next to these oak trees. She said them oak trees doing good, you know them berries is going to do good. So we'll see.